if it's just because it's a kind of a genre thing, but yeah, it's really cool. And JGL has super long hair, which you don't ever see.
Yeah, it was weird. At first, I was like, "Oh, is this like is he wearing like extensions or?"
I don't know if that's his real hair or not.
Yeah,
it looks real.
It looks real, yeah. Especially because I mean, he gets wet and he goes swimming in it and everything.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
I was trying to look to see like, oh, like is anything like weird moving or you know? But I mean, the movie was awesome, and I think the meaning I mean the kind of overall meaning, I guess, is kind of like, even though things are going horribly wrong in your life, there's still things you have that are...
Don't overlook.
Yes, don't overlook the positive that you have that's still around. Like his very awesome speech about his one nut. And it's basically he blows up this engine or whatever, and he ends up losing a testicle
because of the shrapnel.
Yeah, he wasn't expecting. He didn't think that by like blowing up this huge chunk of metal that metal would shoot out everywhere, and he ends up losing a testicle, and he's freaking out, and he's like, holy shit, I lost my nut, I gotta go find it. And then he looks down and he's like, I'm looking at this empty sack, and then there's my right nut. He's like, I still got it. You know, it's still there. It works. It's great. He's like, I can fuck. He's like, it's awesome. He's like, it's amazing. I still got my right nut. And that was a cool little silver lining. There's always a silver lining, I would like to think so, in tragedies and in just in life in general when things aren't going right. There's always a slightly positive message you can learn from.
Yeah,
that's what I took from the movie, and to not overlook family members during tragedies.
Yeah,
everyone suffers.
Don't let sadness consume you, and try to reach out and take care of each other.
Yes,
which is what Hesher ends up doing. It's interesting. He, if you want to jump into like kind of the story,
yeah,
he. So we start the film off with TJ.
Yes.
And he's on his bike, this little BMX bike, right? And he's following a tow truck with his mom's car, or his family's old, like a station, or
like old.
What's it called?
I don't know what it was. It's a little hatchback.
Yeah, or like a little station wagon looking car. It's red. And he's following it, trying to see where it's going, and it goes to this little junkyard.
Yeah.
And he basically gets off his bike when they park the car, and he gets in it. And you don't really know what his attachment is to this car.
Yeah.
It's all banged up. It was obviously been in an accident. And so that's when you're introduced to the bully of the film, which is the owner of the
towing company or whatever, the junkyard.
Yeah, the junkyard has a son who's around the same age as TJ. He comes outside and tries to get him out of the car.
Yeah.
And he refuses.
Yeah.
He rolls up the window, and then we cut to the title card of Hesher.
Yeah.
Very Metallica-esque.
Yes, definitely.
And then we can see TJ in school, right?
Yes.
And he gets picked on by that same kid.
Yeah, the same kid.
They go to the same school. I think Dustin is his name, the bully's name. And he fucking throws TJ on the floor, spits in his face.
Spits a loogie and it's right in his face.
Yeah. And then we see, so TJ's upset. He ends up going to this abandoned house.
Yes, like kind of like it's an empty, like a new home area. They're kind of building houses, right?
And he ends up, he eats shit.
Yeah, he crashes his bike, and then he out of anger he picks up a big rock and throws it through the window.
Yep.
And then he's kind of picking up his bike, getting ready to take off, and you see JGL come out of the abandoned house, shirtless, looking like a fucking scumbag, and he just grabs him by the backpack and he drags him into the house, and then he's just like, you know what? Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he's like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and then right outside a cop.
Is it a cop or security?
Security, probably like the area security.
Yeah.
Pulls up to investigate probably the noise of the window.
Yeah.
And Hesher, or JGL, he looks at TJ and he goes, "You just fucked me."
Yeah.
He throws the kid down and he picks up a cherry bomb.
Yeah.
And he fucking tosses it out the window at the security guard.
You hear me go, "What the hell?" Yeah. And it's you see this huge explosion come through the window.
And he gets out into his fucking huge old van.
Yeah.
And peels out.
Yeah.
And the security guard, TJ follows him out to grab his bike. The security guard is so fixed on getting Hesher's character that he doesn't pay attention to TJ. So he takes off after Hesher's van, and then that's when TJ leaves.
Yeah, and then
I think that happens first, and then we see him in school. He gets picked on.
Yeah,
and then Hesher is like randomly in the school, stalking him.
Weirdly, it's just kind of. At first, I thought he was some type of like figment of his imagination.
Yeah,
like I thought, oh, he's imagining this character, like, and at the end we're gonna find out he's not even real. But because he's just randomly outside of his classroom, like he threw a marker at him, like he's like staring at TJ, and he's like sniffing a Sharpie. And then he tosses the Sharpie at him, and then like he picks it up and he looks back at the window and he's gone.
And then the teacher's like, "Bring that here," and it's like one of those graffiti markers that you're not supposed to have.
Yeah. Yeah, and we find out later that the kids, TJ leaves school, the school gets out and he leaves, and then the bully has his own car, and he pulls up next to him. He's like, "You think this is funny, you little fucker?" And
he had taken the marker and wrote, TJ wrote "Suck my cock."
Yeah,
all over his yellow, because the bully's car is yellow.
Yeah,
bright, like how do you say, kind of like
fucking banana yellow.
Yeah, it's very kind of ugly.
Yeah,
it's like a convertible too, so it's funny. But he drew a big dick and it says "Suck my cock," and he's like, he pulls up, the bully pulls up next to TJ and he's like, "You think this is fucking funny?"
Yeah. And then that's when he catches him in the parking lot at the market.
He opens up his fucking door and knocks him off the bike. That's a big thing in this film, is that TJ gets abused. But what's so impressive is that the falls and the accidents look so convincing.
Yes.
The entire time. There's not one in this film that I could say like, oh,
that's fake. Or
no. He like really does fall, and it's not a stunt. It's him. I don't know how they were able
to do that safely.
Yeah, or to sign it off, or I don't know, but it was insane. So where are we? So we meet they're in the parking lot. Mm-hmm. The bully's basically on top of TJ, kind of straddling him,
getting ready to wail on him.
Yeah, starting to punch him and stuff. And then we meet Natalie Portman's character.
Yes.
What do you remember her name?
No, I don't.
Nicole.
Nicole. Okay.
All right, so we meet Nicole's character. She's coming out of the grocery store, wherever it's at, and she runs up and, without flinching,
she jumps on the bully's back.
Yeah, on Dustin's back, protecting TJ because TJ's obviously smaller than the bully. Mm-hmm. And she basically squares up with him, like, "Yo, leave him alone." I said, "Leave him alone."
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "What the fuck are you doing, lady?"
Yeah.
We're not finished here, you little piece of shit. And then, so he leaves. Nicole saves him, and they kind of become friends.
Mm-hmm. TJ takes a little. Gets a little crush on her.
Yeah.
Obviously, she's a very nice looking lady.
Mm-hmm. Queen Amidala.
Yeah. But yeah, and she ends up dropping him off at home. Mm-hmm. And he's when they pull him to his house, he's getting ready to get out of the car, and then he sees behind him, he hears metal music playing in the back, coming from the van, from Hesher's van. He had been following him, I guess, the whole time. Mm-hmm. And he tries to take off, and she's like, hey, don't you want your bike? And so he takes the bike out of the back of her car, and he kind of runs into the house, and Hesher just pulls up to the...
He didn't want to show Hesher where he lived at,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
He was trying to keep that a secret. And so he goes into the house, and I think he goes and talks to his grandma.
Yeah.
Madeline? Is that her?
Madeline, yes.
And she's this little old sick lady.
Yeah.
Very, very sweet. And he's kind of wandering around the house, very scared that, like, oh, where's...
Yeah, because he's looking through the blinds to see if he's out front.
Like, where he's at.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Hesher appears behind him.
He's in the house already. Like, what the fuck?
He's like, where's your laundry room?
He's like, what? And he's like, I need to do my laundry. He's like, no, you can't do your laundry.
He's like, have you ever been skull fucked?
He's like, it's over there.
Would you like to be?
Yeah. And then he just starts throwing all his clothes in the wash, and then he gets almost completely naked. He's just wearing his whitey tighties.
Yep.
And
he has all these fucked up stick and poke tattoos all over.
Yes.
Which is very funny.
Yeah.
So he does the laundry, and TJ comes in the laundry room, and he's like, what are you doing? You can't be here. You know, he tries to basically say you need to leave.
Yeah.
And Hesher picks up these kind of I think
like weed cutters,
plant cutters, or whatever, very severe looking, and he puts it on TJ's nose, and he says, look, you're gonna start acting like I belong here, or I'm gonna kill you and your whole family.
Yeah.
And TJ doesn't really question him after that. Mm-hmm. He ends up going to Hesher, so he finishes his load, and he goes to the living room. Mm-hmm. He sits down, lights up a cigarette.
Yeah.
And TJ's like, dude, like, you can't smoke in here.
Yeah.
You gotta...
you gotta put it out. You gotta leave.
And he's like, what if I put it out in your mouth?
Yeah.
And then the dad comes home.
Yeah.
Who is Rainn Wilson.
Yeah, and he's just like, who's this? He's like, who the hell is this guy?
He said, my name's Hesher.
And then he pulls TJ aside, and he's like, is he smoking in the house? He's like, yeah, I told him, but... And he's like, who is he? What's it like? What is he doing here? I was like, oh, I told him he could do his laundry. He's like, oh, he's just here to do his laundry. He's like, okay. And the acceptance of just this random, obviously way older guy hanging out with this kid in his underwear in their house is a little concerning for me.
Yeah.
And you can, I guess, that's kind of you can kind of sense how out of reality the dad is.
Yeah,
they've just gone through a tragic loss, and he's kind of just not. He's really numb to everything. I would just assume, because I would hope that's the reason why he doesn't really care that there's this.
Yeah, it's like they're kind of in mourning, and both him and the dad and the son are kind of broken.
Yes.
In a sense. Yeah. Where they don't have a sense of like what's really going on. Mm-hmm. And that's what gives Hesher this kind of opportunity to really stay in this house, because before he was living out of his van pretty much. And so then he does the whole, he's like, oh, you guys only have 4 fucking channels.
Yeah, and then he fucking takes off.
He goes to the kitchen to get some kind of silverware, and he goes outside and climbs on the telephone pole and fucks with the cable box, taking off one of the filters. Yeah. And then he ends up eating shit into the neighbor's
Which is actually really funny, because he's like halfway down the telephone pole, and he's like, oh shit, and he fucking falls.
And still half naked.
Yeah.
And he comes back in and sits down and puts on porn. Yeah. And he's like, now you got more channels.
which was really funny.
Yeah.
It's kind of just how the way you come to figure out that that's just the way he is, and